Hello, welcome to another lesson in After Effects. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to duplicate a shape. So we want to add more stars to our sky with the existing shimmer properties that we applied to the first star left in place. And this is really simple to do. Let's start by going to 0 in the timeline, then click on star 1 in the timeline panel. At the top of your screen, click on Edit, Duplicate. And After Effects automatically names this next layer star 2 and places it at the top of the timeline stack. Now in the composition panel, it looks like nothing's happened, but actually what After Effects does is when it duplicates a layer, it makes one of the exact same size and puts it in the exact same place. So this is basically a star upon a star. And we want to make a few more. So if you're working with Windows, press Control D. If you're working with Mac, press Command D. And let's add 5 more stars to our timeline. So we see that each has its own layer and its own name. Let's deselect those. And then we just simply make sure we're using the selection tool and just drag the stars to various parts of the sky. It doesn't really matter where right now because these will change when we change the scale and the rotation of them, and then of course we can also move them around after that as well. This is just to show you how we're going to change the scale and rotation of the stars automatically. To do that, we want to click on star 1, then press the Shift key and click on star 7. So we select all 7 stars in the timeline. Then press the letter R on your keyboard. This will bring up the rotation settings. Then click on Shift S, and this will also bring up the scale settings. And this might take a minute. We're just going to kind of randomly change the scale and rotation of each star. So click on star 1, and let's make this maybe 75% scale and 2 for rotation. Then click on star 2. We'll leave it at 100% and we'll say 5 for rotation. And just watch the stars in the composition panel as I'm doing this. Notice how they change position and shape. So for star 3, we'll also keep it at 100%, but we'll say 7 for rotation. Star 4, let's say 75 for scale and 7 for rotation. And there's no right or wrong to this. You just do whatever you like. For star 5, we'll say 75 again, and 15 for rotation. Star 6, we'll leave it at 100 and say 15 for rotation. And our last star, 7, we'll say 75 for scale and 15 for rotation. So now you see our stars have moved about in the sky. And what we want to do now, we could preview this. Yeah, let's preview it first. You can see how they shimmer a little bit, and the snowman is blinking and the snow is falling, and this is quite nice. So what we want to do next is, because this is quite messy here and hard to read in the timelines, we want to first of all get rid of our properties here. And then we want to make all of these layers in the timeline into one layer. So once again, let's click on star 1, press the Shift key, then click on star 7 to select all the stars. Then go to Layer at the top of the screen and click on Pre-compose. And we'll name this layer Starscape. And we want to make sure that all attributes are moved into the new composition. Click OK. So now this is a little neater and a little easier to work with because we have one layer here called Starscape, and that includes all of our stars. Now we can still work on these individually. We just need to click on the Starscape composition and timeline, and then we could change these stars individually. But for now, we're going to leave it at this for this particular lesson. And in the next lesson, I'm going to show you how to draw a shape using the pen tool. Thank you for joining me. I look forward to the next lesson with you.